and many thanks for joining us. I am Ansmane Sonyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Here are the main news headlines. German authorities today announced the indictment of Bailo, an alleged member of former President Jammeh's hit squad known as the Junglers. The United States government, through the COVAX facility on Thursday, delivered over 100,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines to the Gambia government. The University of the Gambia on Saturday held its 14th convocation lecture for fresh graduates who have successfully completed their various degree programs with the UTG. And a $6.8 million worth of medical items in a 40-foot container was on Wednesday presented to the Ministry of Health by Nafanta Foundation, charity, and its UK partners. We'll stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. And we now take a look at the news in detail. German authorities today, Thursday, announced the indictment of Bailo, an alleged member of former President Yahya Jammeh's hit squad, known as the Junglers, for his involvement in several illegal killings and human rights violations. Alusise reports.
The arrest is in connection with Bailo's suspected involvement in crimes against humanity, murder, and attempted murder under former President Yahya Jammeh. Under German law, as with all such cases, the accused or arrested person's full name is not given, and he is referred to throughout as Bail. Law was part of Jammeh's hit squad, the Junglers, who are alleged to have committed illegal killings under the executive orders of ex-President Jammeh. Between 2003 and 2006, Bailo is accused of acting as a driver for the Junglers when they attacked various sites, including the killing of Deda Hydra, the ambush on Usman Silla, the killings of Haruna Jammeh, and the mass killing of West African migrants, among others. However, Bailo himself has confirmed his driving role but denies direct involvement in any killing during an interview with the late journalist Pandey Rimbai of the US-based Freedom Radio a few years ago. Bailo was also part of the failed 30 December 2014 attack on State House to overthrow former President Yahya Jammeh. He survived the attack and later fled to Germany. In its report, the TRC called for the prosecution of Jammeh and scores of others, including Bail, for their alleged crimes. Bail, who was arrested by the German authorities in March 2021, is the third alleged accomplice of Jammeh to be detained abroad. The other suspects are Gambia's former Interior Minister Usman Sonko, under investigation in Switzerland since 2017, and another former jungler, Michael Sankoria, indicted in June 2020 in the United States of America. Trial International and the International Commission of Jurists welcomed the indictment of Bail in Germany as an important step for Gambian victims and international justice. The indictment of Bail is meaningful in several ways, according to Philip Grant, Executive Director of Trial International. Bail is currently in pre-trial detention before he goes to Higher Regional Court of Shell. If the court approves it, a trial could begin in the first half of this year. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alusise.
Now, the United States government, through the COVAX facility on Thursday, delivered over 100,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccines to the Gambia government. Omar Pijalo was at the Banjul International Airport and he filed this report.
This shipment of Pfizer doses follows the donation of over 300,000 doses of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine in 2021 by the U.S., bringing the United States' total donation of vaccine to the Gambia to over 400,000. The donations are part of the U.S. government's global efforts to fight the pandemic. Jason Willis, the Deputy Chief of Mission, U.S. Embassy in Banjul, said the Pfizer vaccine underwent rigorous testing and is currently being administered in the United States, with millions of Americans receiving the vaccine, adding that the United States will continue to collaborate with the Gambia to support its vaccine campaign.
This is a highly effective vaccine, the very same Pfizer vaccine that is saving and has saved hundreds of thousands of lives and prevented serious illness in the United States. This effort is, as Jonathan mentioned, is the perfect example of international cooperation. We could not act without the support of our partners like the World Health Organization.
Dr. Ahmed Lamin Samate, the Minister of Health, thanked the American government for this worthy gesture. Samate thanked the parties involved in the COVID-19 response efforts, notably the World Health Organization, UNICEF, the European Union, the World Bank, People's Republic of China, amongst other countries and organizations.
And we are all aware of the recommended percentage of 70% being the ideal. This shows that in as much as we are doing well, we are trying, we've been doing well over the period to increase our vaccination coverage, a lot still needs to be done.
Dr. Desta Tureni, the World Health Organization representative in the Gambia, assures the public that the vaccine is safe and effective in people with non-medical conditions such as hypertension, chronic lung diseases, obesity, and diabetes.
Globally, we have over 400 million cases already registered by now, and 5 million deaths have occurred so far, globally. In the last 7 days of February, cases are declining in all WHO regions, and deaths are declining in African region, Southeast Asia, Europe, and Americas. Similarly, cases and deaths are also declining in the Gambia.
Gordon Jonathan Lewis, the UNICEF country representative, reiterated that the availability of vaccines alone is not enough, but rather the use of the vaccine by the public. He challenged the Gambia government through the Ministry of Health to address vaccine hesitancy and work harder in meeting the global recommendation of reaching 70% vaccine.
I would like to invite you, Minister, that we adopt a slogan, which is get to 70. Get to 70, because if we have already reached 20, getting to 70 is eminently feasible, it's possible.
The Pfizer vaccines will be kept at the country's new and first ultra cold chain store, inaugurated last month by the Ministry of Health with support from the World Bank and partners. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Now, as has become the norm in most universities, the University of the Gambia on Saturday held its 14th convocation lecture for fresh graduates who have successfully completed their various degree programs with the UTG. Jawa tells us more.
This convocation lecture marks the final lecture for these fresh graduates who are set to be awarded their various degrees in line with the university's culture and academic tradition at a ceremony at the Q City Complex in Bijilo on March 5, 2022. In his opening remarks, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, Professor Hubbard Robinson, underscored the importance of university education, which he described as a critical component towards human and national development worldwide.
This is a great achievement. It is something that we're all very proud of. As producers of knowledge at the University of the Gambia, we feel truly satisfied that our UT graduates are going to be judged by the outside world. But as graduates, they have a role to make this country a truly hospitable space. It is also our expectation that they will demonstrate their competence beyond the frontiers of this nation.
Delivering the convocation lecture on the topic, the role of youth in shaping the future of the Gambia, stolen future or opportunity for bold leadership, the convocation lecturer, Dr. Aminata Silla from Towson University in USA, centered our lecture on the challenges faced by young people in the country. She calls on government to formulate all-inclusive policies to help address the problems faced by youth of the country, while also challenging the young people to take up responsibilities and be in the forefront of addressing the country's social, economic and political problems for rapid national development.
The young people play one of the most important roles in nation building, and they should not be looked upon as the leaders of tomorrow, but rather they should be seen as partners of today. They are social actors of change and progress and a crucial segment of this country's development. Young people's actions are important in shaping the Gambia's political future, economic future. We know as a continent, we face a multitude of challenges and threats. These include threats to our democracy, to our institutions, public health, education, climate, and how governments respond to these multifaceted and intersecting issues can also be seen as a threat. Youth politics, mostly in the form of student political activism, articulated public interest and was a bulwark against the authoritarianism of government.
Knowledge accumulation and application have increasingly become major contributory factors at the core of a country's economic development and advantage in the global economy. Thus, it is vital for the government of the Gambia to focus greater attention on the UTG and provide all necessary teaching and learning materials to raise the university to international standards. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
And we now go for a short commercial break, but the news continues when we return. Stay tuned.
My name is Anna Marie Baji. I am Agnes for the Visa Olympics for the Gambia. I run 100 meters and 200 meter race for the Gambia. I like to win medal for the Gambia. I like to train other Agnes. We are family. I want the inclusive community in the Gambia.
Modu came in to buy some bathroom floor tile, but once he laid eyes on our basins, he fell in love with a stunning basin and with a breathtaking faucet. With a brand new mirror too, at a bargaining price.
So, I got a bathtub too.
Oh yes, he picked up a bathtub too.
It's Batty Days time at Batty Mats. Enjoy exceptional discounts up to 70% on all our product families. From March 5th to 19th, you're going to splurge. Batty Mats, everything for construction, from foundation to finishing.
Welcome back. Be reminded you're following QTV News, and we're coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Now, $6.8 million is worth of medical items in a 40-foot container was on Wednesday presented to the Ministry of Health by Nafanta Foundation Chief Charity in collaboration with the Chaffinch Trust in the UK under the guardianship of Her Royal Highness Princess Anne of the Great Britain. Abibatu Sise has more.
The medical items include intensive care and delivery beds, variety of orthopedic equipment, bedside cabinets, crutches, wheelchairs, among other valuables. Nafanta Foundation Chief Charity and Chaffinch Trust aims to provide accessible health care and education to the poor and less privileged. Modu Fai, founder of Nafanta Foundation Chief Charity, recalls growing up, seeing his late mother, who was a community health nurse, helping people to get better health care. This, he says, is what motivated him to continue the legacy of Nafanta. He further explains.
In 2018, in a small scale, we took quite a few, not a lot, hospital kit to SO Health Center. And seeing the welcome we had and seeing the support that has done. And one thing nearly brought tears to my eyes was a kit was removed in the box that we had, and a nurse said, "Oh, this is needed in the ward just now," and just grabbed it, went straight to the nurse. That touched my heart. Now the two charities came together, and we said, you know, no act of cooperation is ever wasted. And the reason we said that is, this is the slogan of the charity, and I don't know, forgot to mention this, but Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, who is Princess Anne, is the guardian of the charity, and she's contributed immensely to help us to get where we are today.
Alastair Smith from the Chaffinch Trust says his charity was established to strengthen health sectors and support the less privileged in society. He hopes for more collaboration with the Gambia.
We have here today will be given to the Gambian people in an effort to, with the Gambian government, to improve the health of its people. The Chaffinch Trust is a very small group of individuals, all dedicated in trying to help the less fortunate all around the world. Not only do we do work in Africa, African countries, we also do work in Great Britain, we do work in the Middle East, and so the work is never ending.
Fatoumata Samate, the Deputy Director of Pharmaceutical Services at the Ministry of Health, believes the items will complement the Health Ministry's effort in promoting better health care to Gambians. He reassures partners that the items will be put to good use.
I would like to add reassurance to you, our partners, that as you have already seen, we have inventorized the items just to show you that we actually have a system in place whereby we can inventorize items. And as the body responsible here at the pharmaceutical services and the central medical stores, we are also responsible for distributing the items to the much needed areas. We work together to ensure that the items are distributed to where they are needed the most. And I'd like to also add that we have facilities to be able to trace where the items have gone to. So be rest assured that when you come back, we will be able to say this is where the items donated have gone to.
Nafanta Foundation Cheap Charity also helps in promoting awareness on mental health issues such as anxiety and depression in society. The Chaffin's Trust aims to address the challenges of those who live in disadvantaged areas, focusing on education, clean water, and sanitation, amongst others. The medical items will be distributed to health facilities across the country. For QTV News, I am Abibatu Sise.
Now, last week, the Gambia Police Force Cooperative Credit Union gifted the Gambia Police Force with 8 motorbikes for distribution to sister security forces under the Ministry of Interior as part of their contribution to improving the country's security. Here's Annabelle Gay with the story.
8 motorbikes are lined up outside of the Gambia Police Force headquarters last week Wednesday, ready to be received by various sister security services. These include the police parent body, the Gambia Immigration Department, the State Intelligence Service, and the Fire Service, amongst others.
We call it our contribution towards enhancing the security's movement within the country, because security is paramount. Each and every one of us, irrespective of where you come from or where you belong to, you should do your quota towards enhancing security, because without security, no one is safe.
The Gambia Police Force Credit Union have a yearly budget set aside to fund such gestures as part of their corporate social responsibility. The motorbikes were gifted as an effort to strengthen the security team within the different police sectors, with an emphasis on immigration and border control.
This is going to the borders, and you know how porous these borders are. And then this will enhance movement of the borders. We will be moving easily. Where the vehicles cannot go, we will use this motorbike to follow them.
We all know that security is not easy. You know, everybody expect them to be protecting our lives and property. And sometimes, you know, it is very difficult, you know, to do some of these things.
The motorbikes will enable strategic and efficient movement within the force, as well as providing a cost-efficient way of getting around, as they use less fuel than larger motor vehicles. These are all crucial elements in enhancing the security services in the Gambia.
So these motorbikes also will contribute in some little way, you know, helping them, whether it is about supervisor getting onto the motorbike to visit station at odd part of night, or taking them to deliver letters at some point, or doing things like that, you know. But it will help in somehow. And then you can also understand that sometimes it is easier to fuel the motorbike than a whole vehicle in certain missions. So it will help. I know the government is doing a lot, and each and every day they want to make sure that our operations get better and bigger, you know, to ensure that the Gambians are protected and secured.
Not only this time, Credit Union is always with us, and they are doing many different things that will help the securities. This is not the first, and I hope and believe that this is not going to be the last.
The credit union plans to continue contributing resources to the police force over time to provide improved security and protection of the Gambian people. According to the Overseas Security Advisory Council, the most common criminal threats in the Gambia are petty street crimes such as pickpocketing and thefts in crowded areas. With this contribution from the credit union, it is hoped that over time, other sectors will follow their example to set budgets for better resources to the various parts of security sectors that will enable it to meet all of its obligations. Reporting for QTV News, I'm Annabelle Gay.
Now, the Aliu Saja Foundation on Wednesday presented medical and personal protective equipment to the Ministry of Health to support the health sector. More in this report. Wednesday's donation is a follow-up to a similar donation by the same foundation on January 22nd, during which medical equipment and food items were donated to Kerchorno Hospital in the North Bank region, and scholarships awarded to students in several communities. Known for its philanthropic interventions, especially in the education and health sectors, the Aliu Saja Jallow Foundation today presented invaluable medical equipment to the Ministry of Health. Handing over the materials, Modufal Dumbuya, the chairman of the foundation, says since its establishment in 2020, the foundation has made several life-changing interventions in diverse sectors in many communities.
This is the foundation's intention to support the health sector, because we know the government cannot do it alone. And the foundation is here, and we are working in collaboration with the health sector, and we want to continue working with collaboration with the health sector.
Receiving the items, Rene Geoffrey Renner, chairman of donation committee at the Ministry of Health, thanked members of the Aliu Saja Foundation for their continuous support to the ministry, adding that the donation will contribute immensely to addressing some of the challenges in the health sector.
Because of the generosity of the family and the board of directors and so on, you are donating these items for the benefit of the people of the Gambia. So I think that's very credible. And we are the ones who should be grateful to you. So I would like to express that gratitude to you and hope that we will continue the partnership. It will not be the last time, we'll be discussing these items and so on.
Buba Dabo, Program Manager, Health Communications Unit, and Fanta Samate, Deputy Director, National Pharmaceutical Services, both commended the foundation for their support to the health sector and gave assurance that the materials will be put to good use.
Minister of Health, we are open to partnership. We are open to collaboration. Anytime, you reach out to us, we really open our doors for all kind of partners that are geared towards developing or the welfare of this country and its people.
The foundation. It's always very touching, very inspiring to see a group of Gambians who want to invest their time and money in contributing to the efforts of the ministry to do something for their fellow citizens. It's always very touching. It's awe-inspiring, so for that we are grateful.
Other speakers included foundation members and Alaji Mama Jallow, a family member to late Aliu Saja Jallow, who thanked the ministry for their services to the nation and thanked the foundation for keeping the late Aliu Saja Jallow's legacy, describing the deceased as a generous being who dedicated his life to helping the less privileged in society. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News. I'm afraid that's all we have for you in this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. German authorities today announced the indictment of by law an alleged member of former President Jammeh's hit squad, known as the Junglers. The United States government, through the COVAX facility on Thursday, delivered over 100,000 doses of Pfizer vaccines to the Gambia government. The University of the Gambia on Saturday held its 14th convocation lecture for fresh graduates who have successfully completed their various degree programs with the UTG. And $6.8 million worth of medical items in a 40-foot container was on Wednesday presented to the Ministry of Health by an Afanta Foundation Cheap Charity and its UK partners. That's it for this bulletin. Do join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.